On this edition of Independent Sources, LinkedIn, a city initiative to train residents without four-year college degrees to enter the job market.
Taboo, Yardies, a film about being gay in what's been called the most homophobic country in the world.
And The Dragon Dancer, a biracial drummer brings some ethnic diversity to an ancient Chinese art form. Welcome to Independent Sources. I'm Viano Ravinka.
And I'm Gary Pierre-Pierre. The LINK pilot program is an initiative to help low-income city residents create their own job opportunities.
LINK stands for Leveraging Innovations and Our Neighborhoods in the Knowledge Economy. The New York City Economic Development Corporation launched the project, which consists of several different programs, in January.
I sat down with the executive director of the NYCEDC, Kyle Kimball. We spoke about the initiatives and the agency's plans to roll them out in different communities. Kyle, tell us about the LINK initiative.
So we announced a number of, it's really a suite of 8 initiatives called LINK, and that stands for Leveraging Innovation in our Neighborhoods in the Knowledge Economy. So the idea here is different pilot programs that we can use to link the city's residents and its resources, which are natural resources, which are our residents, to different initiatives. So we've announced 8 or so, 5 of which are actively being, have been announced now. So the first one is called LEAP, which is a Learn as You Earn program.
Well, before we go into those details, let's talk about why the city started these programs.
Sure. So the city, this is really a multi-agency effort coordinated by the Economic Development Corporation, but it really represents a number of years of work that have been done by a number of different city agencies. So the idea here is economic development can come in many forms. We have traditionally focused on area-wide developments like Seward Park or Coney Island, but we also thought about, with our Applied Science Initiative, how do we link the city's residents into the knowledge economy. So that's really why we started.
Basically, it's all around new media, how to access technology and information, right?
In some cases, it's mostly thinking about how to plug New York City residents into growing demand sectors, most of which are IT or information technology related, but early childhood education, for example, is one where we see a big demand. And so the thought is, how do we take the city's residents and get them better prepared for these in-demand jobs?
Now we could go to the laundry list.
Sure, yeah, sure.
Just tell us what you have in store for the city, and let's get a description of each of the programs.
Sure, and I'll kind of go through them quickly and we can sort of delve in. So the first one is called LEAP, which is a Learn as You Earn program. The idea here is there are people in school, there are jobs that they can have, if someone's in school, rather than go out and have a job that has nothing to do with what they're studying, let's plug them into jobs that have something to do with what they're studying, and so they can learn as they earn. So the idea is to have a wraparound effect in terms of someone's learning in both school and in the workforce. The second one we've launched is called Immigrant Bridge. So the idea here is that there are tens of thousands of underemployed, highly skilled immigrants in the city for one reason or another who are not able to, the city is not able to leverage their advanced training. So this really works with them to get a career plan going, loans, and sort of get these people who are underemployed and overskilled into the workforce. So the example there is a doctor, someone who has a medical degree from India who's driving a cab. Let's give them an individualized work plan.
And how do you do that? Because I'm fascinated with that aspect of it. How do you do that? Because my own cousin, who was a doctor from Haiti, was a truck driver for a little while in New York. He did it the hard way and learned English and all of that. So how would the city's program help that person? So
the first thing is there's helping them develop a job plan. So helping them think about what they're trained to do and how to get the access to the jobs here in the city. The second is doing soft skills training. So getting them, whether or not it's English as a second language or other more softer skills to make them better managers or make them more present at work. And then the third is providing sort of micro loans to help them make the transition from that previous job into the new job. So, because oftentimes there's an economic pressure to keep the old job.
And which agency is spearheading this program?
So we're managing this program
the immigrant outreach program.
the immigrant outreach program.
Yeah.
So what we did was RFP for an operator, and all the information is available on our website, and it has to get plugged in on that.
And the other program?
Sure. So there's digital work, which is targeted at people ages 16 through 26, who are not in school and who are not working, to get them jobs like image tagging. And what's very interesting is I've learned through this, a lot of the innovation is happening in terms of the economy in jobs that I've actually didn't know existed. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who didn't know they exist. And so the idea here is to plug.
Give us some examples of jobs.
So a perfect example is someone can have good work experience micro tagging or image tagging. So a lot of companies will pay someone to tag an image to just describe what's happening in the image. This is something that can be done at home. It can be done with a computer. And so the idea here is to get people who are unemployed, who are not in school, to help them develop and have a job so that they have a work history that will help them get their next job. The third one is our Big Apps competition. No, this is a large competition that we've done year after year. What we're doing in this is really working with the developer community to develop new apps for smartphones that are helpful. The idea here in this particular case is to develop an app that is helpful for workforce opportunities, and so we're calling it a mobility track, so an income mobility track. So developing an app on a phone that will help someone find workforce opportunities or support services like childcare.
Now, before we move on, I have a couple questions. How many jobs is the city hoping to create with these initiatives?
We hope that we are going to touch a couple of thousand people. Now, we are also going into this with some level of humility and knowing that we're not going to solve the issue of poverty with these programs. For us, the definition of success, in addition to getting people jobs and more work experience, is to prove the thesis that some of these can work. These are sort of innovative ways to address problems of workforce development and community support. So the idea here is let's prove the thesis that this type of program can work. Let's do it on a small scale. Let's learn from it, and then what we learn we can extrapolate into a larger program for the city.
Is this targeting a low-income population?
It's targeting low-income, underemployed, immigrants, a number of different communities, and really trying to plug them into the in-demand sectors.
Okay, so tell us some more about what you have here.
Sure. Lift, which is a program, it's going to be an incubator in the Bronx, and the idea here is we have a number of incubators going on around the city. The difference here is this is in the Bronx, and this is focused on low-income folks who, and it'll be an incubator to help them start a business, and it'll be wraparound services. So it'll be a place to go to help to think about creating a business with all the wraparound services in terms of helping someone actually take that business from concept to reality. And that's, right now we announced that we're RFPing for an operator for that. We also have a business innovation challenge, and this is really fascinating. This is, we have just launched a competition for businesses to tell us how best they feel like they can invest in their employees. And the best few businesses that we see in this RFP will then get a cash prize to actually implement that. So the idea is that businesses themselves know how to develop their own workforce. And so let's ask the businesses how they best can improve their own employees or improve the work environment for future employees. And let's give them the money to help them do that. So that's really interesting. I'm really interested to see what kind of innovations come back in that.
How would you qualify, what would you qualify this as successful? What benchmarks are you looking for to say this was really worth the efforts and the initiative was successful?
So it sort of depends on the program. I would say that in some cases it's jobs. In some cases it's making sure that we have learned what works and what doesn't work. So for a perfect example is another initiative we're thinking about is vacant lots program. So EDC has the charge of developing city land. And there are a number of lots in East New York and Brownsville that have been historically challenging to develop. It's because they are odd-sized, they don't necessarily have the right infrastructure, those sorts of things. So we are working with the community to try to figure out how to develop those. So in the case of vacant lots, our development plan, which is part of this LINK initiative. It's the question of success is really, do we get a good number of sites developed, and are we learning about how to develop sites in the future in different communities? So it really just depends on the program.
All right. Thank you very much, Kyle Campbell.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
To find out more about these programs, visit the website nycedc.com/link.
Still to come on the show, why being gay in Jamaica could cost you your life.
Before that, Sarah Pizon has some other news.
Thanks, Gary. Here's a look at some headlines from the ethnic and community media. No more illegal immigrants. The Associated Press recently announced that it will no longer recommend using the term illegal immigrant in its style book. In an op-ed piece for Color Lines, Rinku Sen applauds the AP's decision, saying the term is a dehumanizing slur, which has fueled hateful action. She says the dropping of the I word is a victory for immigrant communities and reflects a new practice among newsrooms across the nation. The AP Style Book is the definitive guide for reporters and editors, both within the news and beyond. We turn now to an historic trial that challenges the New York City's Police Department's controversial stop and frisks policy. The federal lawsuit filed by the Class Action for Constitutional Rights charges that the policy is unconstitutional and unfairly targets people of color. The Amsterdam News reports that the Muslim American Civil Liberties Coalition and Islamic Leadership Council of Metropolitan New York recently held a rally outside the federal courthouse to speak out against the policy. The group says stop and frisk procedures don't simply apply to African Americans and Latinos. They say some Muslim communities face high numbers of stop and frisks in addition to police harassment and NYPD surveillance programs. Not mixing kitchen utensils used for dairy with those used for meat is one of the many rules that Latinos have to abide by in order to work in kosher businesses in Brooklyn. El Diario La Prensa reports that a growing number of Latino day laborers are being employed by Hasidic businesses and must learn their customs at work. Hasidism is the strictest and most conservative branch of Orthodox Judaism. From the Forward, another Jewish newborn has contracted neonatal herpes as a result of a controversial oral sucking technique used during Orthodox circumcision. The parents of the child did not sign a city consent form authorizing the mohel to conduct the procedure, a mandate that was put in place by the New York City Board of Health after a first case appeared in January. A total of 3 children have contracted the virus since the beginning of the year. And finally, the development of East Harlem has some people in the community feuding. DNAinfo.com reports that African American members of Community Board 11 say they were, quote, sacrificed in an effort to increase the number of Latinos on the board. The new list of appointees was released in late March, giving Latinos 5 more seats than they had previously. This comes after a group of East Harlem residents launched a petition last February asking Manhattan Borough President Scott Stringer for more Hispanic representatives on their community board. Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, and Dominicans represent 52% of the population, yet less than 1/3 of the community board was Latino. Those were just a few stories from the ethnic and community media. Independent sources will be back after this.
Do your part. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank today.
Time magazine once asked if Jamaica was the most homophobic place on earth. Some might say yes after seeing the images of a transgender man being brutally beaten by a mob of people.
Whether through its buggery laws or the lyrics in popular music, the conservative Caribbean country has made it clear that homosexuality will not be tolerated within its borders.
The film Taboo, Yardies explores the sometimes painful and gruesome stories of gay men and women in Jamaica. Abby Shola spoke with the film's director, Selena Blake, about the origins of this hate.
Them boy, they dead.
No faggot, no gay, no lesbian. Welcome to Jamaica.
I have challenged the gay community to explain when they insist that we must change our laws to recognize and accept homosexual relations as a normal thing, and we must do it because people should be free to choose. That's the philosophical argument.
there's a lot of anger in the culture, and we haven't been able to just put it out on the table and deal with it effectively.
Anytime you are known for at Jamaica, you're going to get beaten. If not today, or tomorrow. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Selena.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, question, why did you decide to do your film, Taboo Yardies?
Taboo Yardies came about through friends, you know, saying to me, well, I can't go to Jamaica. And I didn't quite, you know, I didn't quite understand where they were coming from. And then I'd have other friends say, you know, because of the music and, you know, I'm gay and, you know, I'm afraid to go there. And I'm like, I wasn't aware of that because it wasn't something that I knew anything. I mean, I didn't know that was going on. And so I did a bit of research and I found out that, wow, this is really happening. You know, on the tourism section, it's different because you're isolated. And so you don't really see what's going on. But there's certain areas where if you're gay, it can be very dangerous.
Pretty rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many of the people that you spoke to in your film, they were very open about their own experiences. How did you go about finding people to be so open?
It took a while. Didn't happen overnight. I remember when we first went to Jamaica to film, I think that was back in '09. And, you know, we got interviews from New York and, you know, arrange and have everything lined up in Jamaica. So when we got there, people just started falling by the wayside. Nobody would pick up their phones or they would give you the runaround. And you go, what the heck? Okay. No one wanted to be on, you know, be in the film. And it was so difficult trying to find someone who's gay. And I remember I was so angry. I was like, you want to tell me there are no gay people in Jamaica? I lost my mind. I reached out to J-Flag and I spoke with the director there. And, you know, he introduced me to a few people, but they were all reluctant because they don't know me. They're not sure. And the trust factor, because remember when I'm filming them, their faces are not
blurred.
Pixelated.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, they trust me to do that. And it took me a moment to understand. And once I did, then everything just started to flow. And I would get one interview and this person will tell me about the other person, the other person will tell me about this one, and it just happened like that, you know, domino effect once I got that first person to come on board and say, okay, I'll do it.
Okay, so what has the response been from the Jamaican government or Jamaicans in general to the film and the idea of the film?
I was about to throw that question back at you. What do you think? I was in Jamaica last month showing the film. I showed it at UTEC where the kid was beaten up by the security guards for allegedly being gay. And that was really great. Showed it at UWI, mixed reaction there. I did not show it publicly because I just wanted to test the waters to see. It's mixed across the board. But I think going back, which I'm planning to go back next month, I will be more informed. You know, I mean, I know it's going to ruffle lots of feathers.
Why are Jamaicans so homophobic, in your own words?
Why are we so homophobic? The Bible, you go back, you know, there's a church every couple of blocks. And we talk about God in everything. You know, it's an abomination for this. And, you know, they will spit out at you in Leviticus 20 or 19 verse 18, it's an abomination for a man to be with a man, but they don't read the other abominations that's there. And the root for us being homophobic, I mean, is, you know, I'm going back to post-slavery and the anger that's within us. And not really being tolerant of each other. Because also you look at it and it's a black and black crime, you know, and you go, wow, why do we do this to each other? Because I'm sure, you know, no one choose. And in the film, there are few people whom have said, we didn't choose to be gay, you know, and knowing the repercussion in Jamaica, no one would choose in their right mind to be gay there. So you go back to the Bible and the hypocrisy of it. You know, for me, that's, you know, you have the pastor in the pulpit preaching, you know, it's an abomination and you shouldn't, and man with man and woman with woman and all of this, when he himself is doing his little thing in the church.
What about the music there? I know Buju Banton and other reggae artists have, you know, condemned gay people. Do you think that's helping to make people even more reluctant to accept gay people?
Yes. I mean, we're all artists in one sense or another, and we have the right to express ourselves. However, we must be mindful of that, and it comes with a cost, or rather at a cost. So if the world is saying, look, we don't like these lyrics, you know, we used to rock out to Boom Bye Bye, now we know what the words are. So we don't like that. We don't want you making these songs. We find them offensive. So what we have to do, or what the artist needs to do, is to step back and say, why do I need to spew hate? Why? Why do I need to put or compose a song that said fire bun, you know, for Batiman, and chop them up and beat them up, and why? Why?
Well, so what role are the authorities or the police playing there? Are they helping? Are they hurting? What are they doing? You laugh.
Yeah, I laugh because, the authorities, I mean, there are pockets, you know, there are certain areas where they will take a statement from someone, you know, from the LGBT community who's been assaulted, and there are certain areas where they won't take the statements, and they'll laugh at you and they'll put you out of, you know, the police station. And that shouldn't be, because when women are being raped, you know, all you need is a good man to set you straight. Really? So corrective rape is okay, and that's going to straighten a woman who is gay?
Yeah, I was
Seriously?
actually going to ask you about corrective rape. What exactly is that?
It makes no sense. You know, it's like, what is there to correct? What did you do to become straight? You know what I mean? You did nothing to become straight. It's the same thing, someone who's gay. They did nothing to become gay. And if we have such a big problem, you know, straight people are having gay babies, maybe we should stop having gay babies.
So are people speaking out about this? Are they protesting, or what's happening?
In the community, it's difficult, because if your face is shown, you know, you might get assaulted. Your family might get assaulted. You might get blacklisted. So, I mean, it's a chance. I know the gentleman from J-Flag, his face, he just put a face to J-Flag after all these years. And that took a number of years, because when I started filming about 5 years ago, couldn't show his face. And it's just recently, very recently, he decided that he wanted to put a face to J-Flag.
What exactly is J-Flag?
J-Flag, Jamaica for Justice. No, I completely forgot the meaning. But it's like, what do you call it?
Are they a group or organization?
It's an organization. It's an LGBT organization in Jamaica.
Wow. And what kind of work are they doing, do you know?
Oh, they're helping the community. They have outreach programs for folks within the community, folks who have been abused, whatever issues, you know, they have in the community, they go to J-Flag.
So how are you getting this film out to the public? Where can people go and watch it?
It's going to be shown at John Jay College Criminal Justice, April 11, 6 o'clock.
Selena, thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you very much. Oh, can I give you the website?
Of course.
TabooYardies.com. It's TABOOYARDIES.com.
Wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back, taking the traditional dragon dance beyond the streets of Chinatown.
finally from us, Kayan is a dragon dancer who is putting a 21st century spin on an ancient art form, the lion and unicorn dance. The lion and unicorn dance. We see it every year during Chinese New Year celebrations. It's a centuries-old tradition that dates back to China. The dance is usually performed at social events like weddings and Chinese New Year celebrations to bring prosperity and good luck to villagers.
First off, you have to have great energy. The difference in the lion and the unicorn is more serpentine, very smooth and playful. The southern lion specifically is more fierce and has more power involved in it. I feel that it's the essence, the spinal cord of the Chinese culture. And for centuries and dynasties, it's been around and still continues to this day.
Kayan is a member of the Muay Fa Lion and Unicorn dance team in Chinatown. His mother is Puerto Rican, but he has followed in the footsteps of his Hong Kong-born father. He has been playing drums and dancing as long as he can remember.
I feel like a lot of Asian Americans that are born here tend to become Americanized and lose their essence of their culture, and maybe not so proud to be from Asian ethnicity. But me being a mixed culture, I appreciate both. So I embody both of my cultures and like to spread the knowledge to everyone who's interested in learning.
One person that Yan has been able to share his culture with is his childhood chum, James Akins, a Caribbean American from Flatbush, Brooklyn, who has embraced Chinese culture like his own.
We're best friends, so I'm always at his house and he's always practicing, and just practice along and get into it, and just over years and years and years, just keeping it up.
At first, the duo was looked at suspiciously by local Chinese devotees who questioned their authenticity, but they've since dispelled those concerns.
It's almost like the United Colors of Benetton, to be honest with you. We're actually, I can't say this factually, but just from what I've seen in Chinatown over the years of going down to Chinatown, I'm pretty sure that our group is, one of the most diverse groups in Chinatown. And that also says a lot. When you can take someone that's not from your direct cultural background and actually make this a part of their culture.
Yan and Akins, both in their early 30s, have contributed to the team's diversity in more ways than one. They've also been able to create a fusion of the traditional lion and unicorn dance with hip-hop that they've displayed at venues like Webster Hall and some local colleges.
So we did first some of the martial arts, some of the lion dance, and some of the hip-hop dance. So the youth would get involved. They see something new, like every day they see hip-hop videos on MTV, whatever channel, and now they see this new thing they've never seen before. They think it's a dragon dance, and they're like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, it's cool. The drums are loud, the music's loud, and it's very vibrant, very exciting and energetic." So we kind of like expand to a new generation, a new genre of music, as well as culture and dance.
That's our show this week. Thanks for staying tuned.
Till next time, be independent-minded.